It's 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm 8 years old, and I'm walking through a wooded area next to my childhood home. My family lives on 3 acres off the main thoroughfare in Lakeland, Florida. The region I'm exploring is overgrown with grand old oaks, tall pines, and it's densely littered with salt palmettos. The brush is thick, and it's always a couple shades darker back here. As I progress, I can smell the orange grove across the street. When I take my next step, I encounter my worst nightmare. A web. I instinctively jerk up, trying to pull it off, and I come eye to eyes with a giant yellow banana spider. I start running back home. After a 5-second full-out sprint, I look back and I see the leaves rustling behind my left foot. What the heck? And I keep running, and every time I look back, there's movement next to my left foot. I'm being hunted! I make it back to the house, slam the door, bolt it. I look down at my left sneaker. The shoelace is untied, hanging long and loose. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, my name is Lysdobradin, and I want to introduce myself to you by sharing some stories about the yard that made me. Let's start with some context. My parents are Polish, fresh off the boat. They came to America in 1989. They left behind everything: family, friends, status. My mom spoke no English. Although I was born up north, my first memories started in Florida. My family moved to Lakeland when I was 3 years old. I had a very sheltered childhood. Because my mom couldn't speak English, I think she was uncomfortable talking to American parents. So my sisters and I, we weren't allowed to spend much time with friends. Apart from school and organized sports, there were no sleepovers, no hanging out, no play dates. So I had tons of time to myself. I loved to read, explore, and make believe. From impersonating a pirate hunting buried treasure to imitating a astronaut landing on Mars. I took things that I learned about in books, I went outside, and I imagined. During that time, I had something at my disposal that not many other kids had: a giant yard. I played soccer out there. I remember one day my dad joined me. This was a very rare occasion because my dad worked crazy hours as a surgeon. On this particular day, he took the ball from me and he punted it. It zipped right up into the tree canopy and it got stuck. It's wedged like a marshmallow between 2 fingers. Almost a year later, I got off the school bus and was walking down our long gravel driveway, and there it was. It had finally dropped out of the tree. I was so excited. I couldn't wait for my dad to get home so I could show him. Later that evening, he came back. We pumped the ball full up of air, went out to play. And it only lasted 5 minutes, because guess what he did?
Oh, no.
He punted the ball and it got stuck in the tree. The yard once saved me. After begging my parents for months, they finally bought me a box of M80 firecrackers. Being a young and intelligent little boy, I decided to light one in the house while holding it. Luckily, I was right next to a door. I fumbled with the lock. I watched the wick burn down. I was able to swing the door open, chuck it, and right as that mini stick of dynamite left my hand, from my adolescent grasp, it blew up. I suffered no injury, and the yard gladly accepted my offering. "Co się stało?" my mom asked. "What happened?" "Nic takiego," I answered. "Oh, nothing." These are the types of experiences I had in my yard. I learned so much, especially about life. I watched the gift of life by saving baby rabbits and baby squirrels that had their mothers abandon them. I learned about how fragile life is by watching my cat stalk and hunt mockingbirds. I learned about loss of life when my family German Shepherd laid himself outside in a summer thunderstorm, clearly in deep pain from his hip disease. He was letting everybody know that it was his time to move on. The yard allowed me to reflect on many aspects of my life. I often credit that yard with the reasons I am the person today, especially my arachnophobia. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I will leave you with this question. Is there any environment that you spent time in during your childhood that you could credit with the shaping of your mind and soul? Thank you.
Right.